One example of how we've used ICT to support learning is with our online learning journeys in the early years foundation stage.
It might be just useful to start off just by explaining what a learning journey is.
Okay, it's the assessment tool we use in the early years foundation stage. So there are 6 areas of learning, and to assess where the girls are, we use a learning journey to make photographic observations, written observations, videos and things like that. And it used to be in the form of mainly written and sticking in a kind of a scrapbook style. And it's just continual assessment throughout the year, daily and weekly observations taken of the girls. Learning journey is particularly useful because you cannot do any kind of tests with your children of such a young age. So it's got to be continual observations. It's the only way we can assess them. And the learning journeys are just a culmination of them all together. It's something nice for parents to see, so it's good for our communication with them. And particularly for teachers, just to see where they are throughout the year. It's very visual and it's easy to dip in and see exactly what they're struggling with, what they're finding difficult as well.
So you used to do the learning journeys in paper format?
We did, yeah.
Were there any problems with doing that?
The main problems were the amount of money we were spending on colour photocopying, printing out the pictures. It was a lot of money. You can imagine with 3 early years classes, continually printing out almost daily coloured pictures of the girls to stick in. It was very time consuming as well, and it wasn't ideal to have post-its to carry around with you. You know, post-its easily get lost, they easily fell out of the scrapbooks, so we would lose vital observations. And you know, they would just be lost then. We wouldn't be able to assess the girls in certain areas. Obviously it's very time consuming to stick all the pictures in. TAs, our teaching assistants and all the colleagues were taking a lot of time after school. They'd have to have certain times throughout the timetable where they're away from the girls, so away from their teaching, to be able to stick all these things in and create it.
How do you do the learning journeys now?
We do them online. So we have them on the parent portal, so the parents can get in through a secure login. We use iPod touches, video cameras, your normal digital cameras, and we can upload. So it works like a blog page where we can send observations straight to the page. Parents can see them from home when they access. Parents can also add their own pictures, comments, observations, and it goes straight on there. So it's very instant.
What's been the impact on kind of your classroom practice and how you work on a day-to-day basis?
We have found that the teachers have been able to get themselves more involved with what the girls are doing, because taking yourself away from what the child is doing to write a post-it or going, it wasn't convenient. You had to go and grab a bit of paper and make sure you write something down, and it was just too time consuming. It would take us away from what we're actually supposed to be watching. We're supposed to be observing their learning, and to go off and grab something to write with just wasn't convenient. So with the iPod touches we can do it there and then, very easy and simple, and we're all doing it really quickly, and we can do it straight away, and then we're still there with the children, we're not being distracted from them. So that's been the main thing for us in the classroom, I think.
Okay, if you're able to record the evidence quicker, does that mean you're able to do it more often?
Definitely more often, yeah. The iPod touches go everywhere with us, and we're finding that certain places, like when we walk the girls round to the pond, or whether we're on the playing fields outside in the garden area, they're always with us. So whereas before, if we didn't have any post-its or paper available, or the classroom camera, whereas the iPod touch, it's all rolled into one. Goes everywhere, so whatever we can see. It's definitely more regular, and I think it's more thorough as well. We're getting more information on there because we can link it with the learning area instead of having to go back with a post-it or a label later and add that on. We can do it there and then.
How have parents reacted?
Really positive. It's been really positive feedback. I've had lots of good comments about how it's improved the communication, and how they can see more of what their children are doing at school. They feel definitely more involved in them reaching their achievements, and we've had a lot of the parents, which has really surprised us, being able to link their own comments at home from holiday experiences with what they're actually achieving compared to the learning scale. So they've actually started linking it to the areas and the targets, and basically doing what we do at school, just reflecting it, so that the parents are more aware of what the learning goals are, and they're becoming more involved in doing that themselves.
It's been so lovely to share the learning journey with my parents who actually live in France, and with Dom's grandma, and you know, obviously we have secure login, so we can share that login detail with our relatives and friends and family who don't live nearby, don't get to see my children on a regular basis. And actually my mum logged in the other day and said how lovely it was to see Ruby walking around in the puddles in the wellies and raincoats. and was saying it's such a shame that she can't see Freddie, because my son is in a school where they don't have these online journeys. So she was really wanting Freddie's school to develop in this area as well, so that she could see more of him in that sort of a way. But it's lovely. You can access it. You know that if you go on a holiday, you can upload photos and post to the secure platform. And you know, on a day-to-day basis, if Ruby's done something that I think is important in her education, I can post it on there, and I know the teachers will be looking at it daily as well.
How have the children reacted?
The children love looking at them. I show them quite often using the interactive whiteboard so they can see it on the big screen. They love, at that age, seeing pictures of themselves. They find it quite funny to see themselves on videos as well. And we have started to introduce them being able to add to it themselves. Up till now, we've been scanning the children's work and putting it on there, so it's examples of their own presentation of work on there for them to see. And also using tough cams and digital cameras which they can use on their own to film their learning while we're in role play, while we're outside gardening, for example. And they've been able to film themselves, and they've been starting to put them on. We're just learning to do that now. I think getting them more involved, definitely, because they're starting to put things on themselves a lot more than they would have done with a book. And also the communication with the parents, they can share it with their parents at home, so I think that's really important. Didn't really have that before. The scrapbook learning journeys would go home in the holidays, so they'd add to them there with their parents, but now it's daily. You know, they can go on and say, I've put a picture on today, Mummy, and they can show them at home. So it's more exciting for them. They're definitely more involved.
Do you think the children are more aware of their learning, more enthusiastic?
I think so, yeah, because they often come up to us saying, can we put this on our learning journey? And we'll ask them why, and we'll ask them what are they learning. So quite often their own quotes are there as a comment, as opposed to the teacher's comments. So we'll comment on what they might be learning, and we'll say that the child observed this themselves. So they are more aware of what they're supposed to be achieving as well.
Yeah, since the success of the learning journeys in the early years, we decided to kind of roll that out to the other year groups, and we've been making a class blog, I guess. We only went live with our year one blog a couple of weeks ago, but the response I've had has been really positive. The parents are all very enthusiastic, and they've even given us some suggestions and ideas on what we can do in our future topics. The children have been really enthusiastic about the learning journeys. In fact, I had some girls come up to me yesterday. We went on a school trip to the Tower of London on Wednesday, and I'd taken lots of photographs on the way round. And one of the girls came up to me and said, I think we should put this photograph on because it shows that we learn how to show respect to the King and the Queen whilst we were in the castle. So they're really taking ownership of their own learning, and they're having a lot of input into the learning journey, which I didn't think that they would when we initially set it up. But actually the parameters have changed because the girls are so enthusiastic about it.
What were the particular challenges that you faced doing a class learning journey?
I thought I might struggle to find time to do it, but actually with the blog program that we're using, WordPress, it's very easy just to take a picture, write a sentence and upload straight to the learning journeys. Obviously that will be even better. As we develop more advanced technology with use of iPads and iPods, and the girls can actually start to take pictures themselves and upload them onto the blog.
At first, we found that the early years staff were a little reluctant because it was going to be a new use of technology. So we were a little wary that there might be technical problems going on, and that it would hinder what we were doing, because going from a post-it to something as technical as an iPod or digital cameras and things, some of the TAs were a bit worried as well. So we had a lot of training to overcome that.
Some teachers might think it might be more time consuming to do it this way, and might be quite reluctant to give it a go. What would you say to them about your experience?
It was our worry at first that it would be more time consuming, particularly mine, definitely. I thought that with added technical difficulties with using the computer, getting in, maybe problems logging in, that it would be more time consuming in the long run. But it absolutely hasn't been. It's really surprised us all how easy and simple it's been to use. The iPod Touch, the program with the Share Plus program we're using to put it onto the learning journeys, is just like a simple text message. It goes on so simply. So all the staff have really embraced it. You know, even the teaching assistants who weren't as confident using PCs and laptops at first, you know, they've really embraced it as well and become a lot more confident at uploading. So it's completely gone the other way around. Really surprised us. It's so easy to use.
And we did initially think that, well, the junior school teachers especially did think that it would be an added time constraint for them to update a class blog. But actually what we've done to get away from that is I said that I will run a lunchtime club for the years 3, 4, 5 and 6, where there'll be 2 girls who are responsible for the blog and updating the blog on a week-to-week basis. So in the junior school, it will be very much in the hands of the girls what goes on that blog, and obviously the class teacher will have overall responsibility and be able to upload photos and comments themselves, but we really wanted to put it into the hands of the girls to show what they wanted to share with their parents. I think once people see how useful these tools are as learning tools, as valuable resources for extending children's learning and developing that homeschool communication, that you don't actually need to do a lot of persuading. It's just offering that support and ensuring that they are confident enough to use it when they feel that they want to. But I don't think you need to do a lot of persuasion. I think it's just showing them that it works well, it's a fabulous tool, and that they'll come around to that themselves.
Would you ever move back to doing the learning journeys in their paper form?
No. Far too time consuming. It really took us away from our teaching and where we should have been putting all our time and effort into, taking us away from the classroom environment, having to deal with all paperwork, lots more paperwork. We already have a lot in early years, and I just think it's taken a lot away from that. We're far more involved. I wouldn't go back now, definitely not.